Welcome to another episode of Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. We're the place to come to hear experts and authors, authorities, and geeks what they have to say about things that may be baffling and confronting us as we age. This is what we call next level clutter because we have a tendency to sweep those facets of life under the carpet to put off another day or forever. Instead, it's here that we aim to clear things up, learn new things, get in action, and get things done. So we sort things out and invigorate our lives and leave a legacy, not a mess. On this show, you will hear conversations about resetting your health and fitness and eating, digital decluttering, telling your life story, social relationships, deciding where to live and what to do next in life, and getting your financial house in order, and even making your final arrangements. Today we're going to talk about memoir. In my experience, I've heard one of three things from people. I'm not a celebrity, so who cares about my life story? Or they say, I wish I could tell my story, but I don't know how to do it. Or they say, I'll get around to it someday, one day, maybe. Well, around Decluttering 55 Plus, we think everyone has a story to tell and wisdom to impart. And the next generation wants to know, whether it's your children, your grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and generations after them. So we encourage you to figure it out and get things done one way or the other. Our guest today shares this viewpoint, and we're going to hear from him the solution he offers for how we can share our life experiences, successes, failures, high points, low points, and at least 1,000 different other things, literally. Welcome, Cameron Graham, to the show. Thank you for being here. Cameron is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Storii, spelled Storii. You can Google it at www.storii.com, as simple as that. Rather than give a long dissertation about what Storii is and how it came to be, let me invite Cameron to tell us himself what a wonderful resource this is and how we can inspire and help you fulfill your wish to have your side of your life story told. Cameron, tell us what Storii is.
Thank you for having me today, Michelle. It's a pleasure. Yes, we are Storii, and ultimately what Storii is a really simple way to record your life stories, your memoir, over phone calls. There's lots of different ways for people to record their stories or their memoir, but one of the things we really want to do is make it as easy as possible. A lot of people have a lot of stories to tell, and they might not
Sure.
want to write or type out those stories because it can take a lot of time. Maybe you've got arthritis, you don't want to type, you don't want to write these things out. And ultimately we found that using phone calls was a really strategic and easy way to do this. So at a very high level, our product sends out automated phone calls asking questions about your life. You then have up to 10 minutes to record your answer for each question. Our system saves that recording, transcribes it for you, and stores it to your profile. And one of the main reasons why this works so well is that you have that schedule, so Storii will call you up to 3 times a week. So you don't need to remember to record another story. And we're finding a lot of success with this.
Do people, how is it scheduled, Cameron? How are the calls scheduled?
Yeah, so when you set up your account with Storii, and this might be a loved one setting it up for you, or you could be doing it for yourself, you get the opportunity to pick the days and times that you're going
Okay.
to receive calls.
I see. And 10 minutes. So, and you make up the questions or you're given questions. How do you decide what stories you want to tell?
Yeah, good question. So we have about 1,000 questions that our system can ask. The first 20 or so are normally the same question set because it's really good just to get people started and kind of pull these answers out of them. But you can also add your own custom questions. And this could be done either by yourself or a family member. And let's say your dad is really into golf. You could add in some custom questions about golf that your dad would really enjoy answering if you want to.
It's fascinating. One thing I know we did. My husband is interested in working on his memoir, and one of the things that he did was he asked our granddaughter what questions she had for him, and we were shocked by her questions. So it's another way to go about it is to ask those around you what questions they want answered.
Exactly, and you can get other, members of the family involved. So it's not always just one person adding the questions. It could be your grandkids, it could be a spouse. It's adding different questions to ask a loved one. I should also mention that the system works in different languages. So
Wow.
maybe you want it to be asked in Spanish or Italian or even Japanese. And our question set varies culturally. So, for example, if you set it to Japanese, we have questions in there asking about your first memories of cherry blossoms. So it's really culturally specific, and
Oh.
that's not a question that we would ask for our US question set.
Now, do you look through all of these 1,000 questions in advance, or and then pick out which ones are you're going to receive when, or do you get these questions in random order?
So you can if you want to, and you can adjust the order that the queue goes if you really want to take the time and go through that. But at the end of the day, we
Yeah,
really wanted to
I'm
make this
wondering
product
whether or
as
not
simple as
it's.
possible.
I'm wondering if it's easier to be extemporaneous, or you should think ahead. What are the answers to the questions that you're being posed?
Yeah, of course. So sometimes you might be asked a question and you don't quite know the answer to it there and then. You have the ability to just hang up the phone call and you can actually call back Story at any time to then answer that question. We have the three schedule limit a week, but you can call into Story at any time. A lot of our storytellers might use a Sunday to do 10 calls back to back. And Story will keep asking the same question until it's either answered or skipped. So you can always take that time to think about your response if you need to.
And once you speak, so one of the things, the person who's posing these questions is actually not a person. It's automated, and you say that there's an advantage to it being automated. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it really is interesting. So when we initially first had this product, we did test this out using human beings. But we found it's kind of an interesting psychological trait, I guess, that people were much more reticent to fully share their answers, or their answers would be super short because there's another person asking it, they might be on the line. But when it's automated, people are a lot more comfortable, they're willing to
Yeah.
take their time in their response, and it's just kind of a better experience. Of course, for us as a product, it also means that we can scale this significantly, offer it in multiple languages, let you pick the days and times you're getting calls, etc. So it really just makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I can totally understand that you have more freedom when you don't think somebody on the other end is going to be judging your answers. So,
Of course.
how long does when you buy the opportunity to record your stories rather than write a whole book or make a movie or do any kind of video, but you choose this audio method of doing it? When you buy, how does it come in what kind of packages, and how long do you do this for?
Yeah, so our most common package that people get is ultimately our 12-month package. That's also what you will get if you purchase our physical gift box, which I have a copy of right here. A lot
Oh,
of people
okay.
really wanted a way to physically gift this and wrap this for a loved one, for Mother's Day, Father's Day, the holidays, etc. And that gives you 12 months worth of calls. So you'll be getting 3 calls a week automated for 12 months. And again, you can call in at any time. And for most people, that's enough time to record your story. If you wanted to keep going, you
Yeah.
can, however. You can keep going for, years if you wanted to.
Wow. You'd have to have a big life, you know. I would. You don't run out of things to say, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of people do, though. A lot of people have so
Yeah.
much to cover and they want to just keep going, or their family members keep thinking of new questions to ask.
Oh, interesting. Now, one of the things you told me before when we were pre-interviewing here is you told me that a lot of these packages, these gift packages, are actually being purchased by young people for their parents or their grandparents. I thought that was really interesting. They want to know. If you think your kids don't want to know, they may not want your china, but they want your story.
Yeah, so a good portion of our storytellers, they are doing it for themselves, right? They want to record their
Okay.
story. But the majority of people that do purchase Story, they're getting it as a gift for their parents, their grandparents. These might be, in some cases, older individuals that might just not be aware that the product is out there. So they're finding us on Amazon, or they're seeing some of our ads in social media. And the great thing about that is it's kind of a gift for everyone involved,
Yes.
not just for the storyteller that's recording it, because the family members are going to get these stories. They can pass them down to their grandkids and kind of keep that legacy going.
How do the kids get the stories?
Good
Unless,
question, right?
but
So,
yeah.
what happens to them, right? So, straight after an answer is completed, the family members that are connected to your profile will get a text straight away saying, Mum has just recorded a story answer. Click here to listen to it. So they can hear the recording, they can read the transcript. But at any time, or at the end of your 12 months or however long you're using the service for, you can export all of your answers as an audiobook or a PDF transcript of all of your answers. You always have access to the content even after your subscription period has
So you
passed.
could
So there's lots of ways to get it.
you can take all of these answers and then come up with a book at the end anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for us, we really focus on the voice and the audio recordings. The intonations in the voice that make your dad, or your mum, we think are so important as opposed to just looking at a base transcript.
Yeah.
People can use the transcripts and generate a book from that, but we feel that when people are writing or typing up a book, one, like I mentioned before, it's a lot of work, but it's also quite performative. You're writing this out for someone else to read, as opposed to just saying your candid answer, that has character and is you. So we really think the recordings are the most important piece.
I think there's a lot of merit to what you're saying, and I really appreciate it because that's something I've learned out of talking to you is thinking, oh, yeah, I would like to hear their voice again. That would be awesome. Or if you've never heard their voice, to connect in that way. It's really wonderful. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is this going to, am I going to have to rob a bank to have a story gift box?
So yeah, we really tried to make this as affordable as possible. And just for a comparison, you could hire someone to spend time with your loved one. They'll visit in person, maybe spend 8 stressful hours asking about their life, trying to condense it all in that one time period, and you'll spend $3,000 or $5,000 for that service, right? So we wanted to really offer a better service that was orders of magnitude cheaper. So the Story, a 12-month subscription is $99. That gives you 12 months. It's a little bit more for the gift box, is $119. But for the service that we're offering, we've really managed to bring that cost down, so it's an affordable gift for a loved one or something
It's
to purchase
it's
yourself.
it's everybody needs to run out and get it. Now, where do they go get it? They go to
Yeah,
your
so you can get
website or
this from our website, story.com with two eyes. You can also find us on Amazon as well. That's pretty popular.
and it's important to remember it's Storii, so it's www.story.com. I think everybody should go out and get one because I know I wake up in the morning oftentimes and I go, my father never told me about this, or my grandmother never told me about that. And this is so easy to get your hands on. It's so accessible. So I recommend that even if you're writing a book or writing a movie or writing a video, that one more dimension of knowing your ancestors and your history. Can you tell us any anecdotes, like experiences that other people have had? What did the person telling the story get out of it, and what did the person getting the story get out of it? Do you have any experience with the results that your customers have?
Yeah, of course. So for a lot of our storytellers, Story is the only audio recording they have of their life. And you always hear the classic story of I've kept a voicemail of my dad because it's literally the only audio I have of
Yeah.
him. And we've had that for so many cases here. So, like I mentioned, we get a lot of people that are just using Story to record their memoir, but there are also cases where we get emails literally on a weekly basis saying, my loved one just passed away, my dad passed away, they might have had cancer or they were in hospice, and we're so glad that we've used this service. It's the only recording that we have of them. There's also other really fascinating use cases. People use Story for many reasons. We've had, I think, two use cases where people were recording it because their voice was degenerating. I believe they had ALS.
Oh, wow.
So, and they wanted to basically use it as a store, their voice, before it goes.
Wow.
So it's a very meaningful product. It really fuels our team to know that it has a big impact on the people that are recording these stories and the families that the stories will be kept with.
Well, we are cheerleaders for what you're doing, Cameron, and I really appreciate it. I wish we had more time to talk today, but we have to start to wrap things up. So I hope everybody out there has learned that telling your life story does not have to be out of reach. You don't need special talents or even a lot of money to get it done. First, you have to just make up your mind and embrace the idea that the next generation and generations after them want to know where they came from. Where are their ancestors? What did they do? How are they the same or different than you are? They want to connect through time with you. So no matter how you tell your story, it takes initiative on your part to get it done. So action will make all the difference. So you know what to do. Get busy, schedule the action, step up, and get it in your calendar and keep going until you're complete. If you visit www.storii, that's STORII.com, you're likely to find an easy and affordable way to check preparing a memoir off your bucket list because you succeeded to get it done. Before we sign off, I want to remind you to go to our website, www.decluttering55plus.com, and click on the Let's Connect button and sign up to receive notifications from us about what's coming up on the podcast. We're here to find our books and products and all the news about what's going on in the world of Decluttering 55 Plus. Like us, love us, subscribe to us, follow us all on Instagram and Facebook, and by all means, subscribe to YouTube. If you haven't already purchased a copy of Decluttering 55 Plus, Wisdoms to Create a Legacy, Not a Mess, it's a book that sits like a tent on top of your desk, and get a copy for yourself, your friends, your parents, your grandparents, your kids. Buy it for the whole neighborhood, maybe even your coworkers. This illustrated book prompts you to think about things, get answers to the questions you have, and get in action. It's lighthearted but poignant, and we want a copy for you and everybody you know. For now, take a moment to consider what you want to declutter next in your life. Set a goal, make a list of actions to take, and reach that goal. Write us and let us know your success and your struggles. We're here for you. And let us know what you want to hear about. Tune in next week for another episode of Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. We'll see you again soon, and in the meantime, have a clutter-free day. Thank you.